As a gun voter here in Georgia, are you tired of watching year after year as it seems your gun rights are being whittled away, or you're hearing about politicians trying to sell them off piece by piece by piece to appease the radical left, all the while no one is fighting for your gun rights? Guys, that is the case, sadly, here in Georgia. But now voters in Senate District 18 have a chance. They have an opportunity to elect a new candidate, and they're going to have to decide if one candidate versus the other is going to be that fighter for them, or if they're going to have somebody else who's just a part of the system. We're going to break this race down for you right now. Hey everyone, I'm Alex Dorr here from Georgia Gun Owners, and I'm talking to the gun owners in Crawford, Monroe, Peach, Upson, and portions of Bibb and Houston County. Guys, there is a special election happening right now in Senate District 18 to fill the vacant seat left by John Kennedy when he went to run for lieutenant governor. And guys, this is the opportunity for the voters to pick a candidate who they think will fight for their gun rights versus someone who would likely work against their gun rights. So let me talk to you real quick about how we do this. So we're a 501c4 non-for-profit. We do not endorse candidates. We do not oppose candidates. We deal in facts. We deal in information. We bring you the details, the receipts, as the cool kids say, so that way you can make an informed decision. Now, we enter pro-gun legislation, we track bad legislation, and that's one way that we can get details on a candidate, especially if they're running for re-election or another office. But when it comes to a candidate or candidates like you have in Senate District 18, well, that's a lot of candidates who have never held an office before. So you have no way of knowing exactly what their character is or how they would act once elected. That is where Georgia gun owners come in. Because you see, it's Georgia after all. Every candidate is pro-gun. Heck, most of the Democrat candidates will tell you they're pro-gun. Joe Biden said he was pro-gun. Kamala Harris said she was pro-gun. Barack Obama said he was pro-gun. He even posed with a gun, for crying out loud. So it's not enough to say you're pro-gun or to say that you own a bunch of guns. Gun owners need to know what exactly that means to you. And that's where we come in. We have a survey of 10 questions, 10 hard-hitting questions. And these questions are all based around legislation, bills that have been entered, will be entered, or we're asking them to enter on our behalf, gun owners' behalf here in Georgia, if they were elected into office. None of this like, what does an assault rifle mean to you? And should we have standard capacity magazines? Like, what is a standard capacity magazine? You know, up for ambiguous definition so that way they can suddenly get squirrely brained when they go to office. So I want to talk with you real quick about candidate Steven McNeel, because he is one of the candidates who has not held an elected legislative office before. So it's very important to know specifically on Steven, how do you feel about the Second Amendment? We sent him 10 questions. You can see all of them on our website. Here's just a representative example. We asked Steven about the Second Amendment Preservation Act, SAPA. That's our flagship bill. This bill protects gun owners in Georgia should a Democrat, the radical left, ever have control of the White House or Congress again. If they try and pass gun control, if they try and sign executive orders and force it on Georgia, SAPA comes along and says, yo, you can't use our local law enforcement to enforce laws that aren't on our books. You're going to have to send your federal agents to come and do that, the ATF, the FBI. Again, imagine them under the Democrat control, not Donald Trump's control. Okay? This bill would protect gun owners. Steven said, yes, we need that bill. I'll co-sponsor that bill. We asked him, would you work to repeal deadly gun-free zones instead of try to expand them like the rhinos in the House are trying to do? Steven says, yes, of course we should repeal gun-free zones. That's where bad people go to carry out their evil deeds because they know they have unarmed victims there. Steven says, yes, I'm on board. We asked him about would he work to protect or stop the repealing of stand your ground law. There are certain rhinos in the House who have talked about this, and the radical left continues to file bills to repeal our stand your ground law. Steven says, I will oppose any efforts to repeal stand your ground law. We did ask him about AR-15s and standard capacity magazines. He's like, I fully support them. They should be illegal. I oppose any of the radical left attempts to ban them. Then we asked him about, hey, what about deadly storage laws that the radical left and rhinos in the House are trying to pass, HB 1? He says, no, gun owners need to access their firearms at a moment's notice should a criminal break into their house. You cannot force them to lock them up under lock and key 24/7 and give all that advantage to the time advantage to the criminals. So Steven, having never held office before, presented with 10 questions about real bills in Atlanta, came back with 100% pro-gun answers. Again, that's not an endorsement. We're presenting you with our facts, which is he answered his questions correctly. Another candidate we surveyed was Eric Wilson. Now, Eric had the same opportunities that Steven did to complete his survey, and he told us over the phone that he was pro-gun and he owned a bunch of guns and he'd complete the survey. But when we sent it to him with the same time constraints that we gave to Steven, Eric would not do it. Now, we told him in the text message when we reminded him, hey, non-answers are considered hostile answers. When you won't be specific, we have to worry about why. So if you see Eric on the campaign trail between now and January 20, definitely ask him, Eric, what's going on? Why didn't you complete this survey for Georgia gun owners? Why won't you be specific? The next candidate that we have to talk about is Lauren Daniel. This is not the first video that Georgia gun owners has had to do on Lauren Daniel's candidacy. This is not even the second video that we've done on Lauren Daniel. This is now the third video that we've done on Lauren. The first two were actually done in a district far, far away, in SD-18 up in McDonough in 2022, 2024. So it's very weird to see Lauren now down in a different district within 2 years. Now, very interesting to be way down here in Senate District 18, but I'll leave that up to the voters to ask her what's going on with that. Lauren was given a survey in 2022, the same one that Steven McNeel was. We asked her to be specific on her views. She refused to answer the survey. We asked her again in 2024, and she again refused to answer the survey. Now, in 2022, she won her primary by 22 votes, and then she lost her primary in 2024 by 6 whole points. Same district, same voter base, same two candidates going at it again, but now there was this massive change in the district on how they viewed Lauren Daniel, and she lost her seat. And so now, the third time, Lauren is coming out and she is answering our survey. And oddly enough, this time, Lauren Daniel completed her survey with the exact same answers that Steven McNeel did. Okay, she gave the exact same answers, including that she would co-sponsor the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Guys, this is very interesting because in 2023, when Lauren was in office, there was HB 293, the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and Lauren McDaniel was not a co-sponsor of that bill. And then in 2024, there was another version of it, HB 1009, a little cleaner version after some judicial scrutiny in other states on the same kind of bill. We said, hey, let's clean it up, and we entered another one. And again, Lauren Daniel did not co-sponsor HB 1009. So the question I have to ask as a father, you hear this all the time, I'll do better this time. Is this that kind of a promise? Like, don't punish me, voters. I promise I'll do better next time. But really, you're not sure what the change of heart was. Is this a pinky promise? We don't know. After refusing the survey 2 times before, now suddenly she's doing the survey and she's doing them with the same answers as Steven McNeel did. The voters have to ask what changed. What changed for Lauren that she's now doing this survey? I'm going to wrap up with this. This is kind of the mood and mode that I am seeing from so many gun voters across the state. We have watched our president be shot. We have watched him almost be shot a second time. We watched as they murdered Charlie Kirk in front of the nation. We all saw the video of them stabbing that woman to death on the train in Charlotte. We all know about Laken Riley. We are seeing the radical left killing our people Americans here in this country, nonstop. It's almost weekly that we're seeing these attacks. And yet we're still fighting with the Republican majorities in this state to pass pro-gun legislation. You have to ask yourself, what type of candidate do you want to go to Atlanta? Do you want someone that knows how to work and game the system because they've been there before? Maybe that's what you think is the best way of handling this. Or do you want somebody who is going to go there and fight for you because that's just what they got to do because they're tired of watching people get killed as well? Guys, that's all I have for you. If you have friends, family, employees, employers, church, shooting buddies in Senate District 18, please share this video with them. These are vital facts that may help them decide who to vote for by January 20th. And guys, get out there, vote pro-gun, vote like your life in the state depends on it. And if we have any more information, we'll bring it to you right away.